might be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, guys, it is currently like 2 a.m. here, and I just want to thank everyone. We just got done with our live stream on Monday night, and it was fantastic. I mean, over 1,500 people in it at one point. I mean, I could not believe that, and thank y'all all who came out and hung out with me during that live stream. We will be live streaming again tonight after the game on Tuesday, and at 8:30 p.m. Central on Wednesday after the game on Thursday, at 8:30 p.m. Central on Friday, 8:30 p.m. Central on Saturday, and Sunday morning. So y'all know we live stream every single day. Nobody's going to go out there and answer as many questions for y'all as we are. So please, if y'all are not already, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you have that bell on next to the subscribe button. Then you are going to know when we go live, and you're going to be able to come in and get your questions answered. But yeah, let's not talk too much time about that. Let's just go through and let's try to end this video as fast as possible so I can go to sleep. And let's talk about 3 running backs skyrocketing in fantasy football value at the moment. All 3 of these guys went out there and had extremely impressive week 5 performances. And I think that we are going to see not only their projected fantasy points going forward increase because of it, but we are also going to see their fantasy football trade value drastically increase. So now let's talk about the first player, and I got a ton of people asking me on my waiver wire video, why did I not include him? And it's because I told y'all to go out there and buy him everywhere last week. And if you did not have him, trade for him. If he was on your waiver wire, pick him up. And this is Chase Edmonds. I mean, we should already all have Chase Edmonds on our fantasy football rosters because Chase Edmonds going out there and performing what he did against the New York Giants is extremely encouraging. I am way more encouraged on what we saw from Chase Edmonds than what we saw from Kenyon Drake in this week 5 matchup against the New York Jets because, I mean, guys, Chase Edmonds had that receiving role on lock. I want to say Chase Edmonds ended up getting like 6 receptions, and every time that he's touched the ball so far in 2020, he's looked better, he's been more electric, and he's just been way more efficient than Kenyon Drake so far. And y'all know we were so low on Kenyon Drake coming into this season just based on the fact that he had never had a full workload dating all the way back to Alabama, where he kind of split a backfield at one point with TJ Yeldon, split a backfield at one point with Derrick Henry, where you can't blame him there. But still, we just have not seen Kenyon Drake ever go out there and be that bell cow running back outside of a 4-week stretch in 2019. So this was something we weren't expecting in 2020, and it has not come true in 2020 so far because he's going out there and he's only getting carries. I mean, he's having no usage in the receiving game whatsoever. And with Kenyon Drake, that's not what we expected. If anything, we thought that we were going to see him be a receiving running back because that's how he's operated, at least through Miami, and how he was last season with the Arizona Cardinals. So very weird to see him just be a pure running back. But what this is going to do is it's actually not only going to make Chase Edmonds one of these handcuff type running backs that will be a running back 1 if Kenyon Drake goes down. I mean, just absolutely bucket, guys. I don't want to get into the exact details, but please, after this video, go and look up Chase Edmonds game logs, and you'll be able to just pick out just what games that the starting running back in front of him was injured, because it'll just go Chase Edmonds 3 carries, 30 carries. I mean, this is a guy that has proven that he can be a workhorse running back in the NFL. Yes, he's a little bit undersized, but still, it has not mattered in terms of when the Arizona Cardinals have had the chance to give him carries and targets. They have really come through, and I think that in the overall Arizona Cardinals offense, this is going to be an offense that we expect to continue to increase their fantasy football output for all positions going forward, with Kyler Murray just continuing to progress in 2020. Chase Edmonds is a fantastic player, and all we have talked about so far is his upside. And personally, what I did not expect with Chase Edmonds was the floor that we have seen so far through 5 weeks. I mean, he's going out there, and because Kenyon Drake has no usage in the receiving game at all, Chase Edmonds is going out there and getting like 5 or 6 receptions a game, and that is going to make him a running back that, where if you have some injuries in front of him, if you have possibly a game canceled due to COVID, if you have just a horrendous matchup, or if you have a ton of bye weeks hitting you, I mean, guys, this is the type of year where we are going to need to go out there and we're going to need to make some nasty plays. I think you could do a lot worse than Chase Edmonds, even if Kenyon Drake is 100% good to go for that matchup. So Chase Edmonds does have a decent floor where he has a role in this offense. And we know if anything happens to Kenyon Drake, Chase Edmonds is a running back 1. Okay, now let's get to a running back that's on the complete other side of the spectrum. This is a guy that has a ton of fantasy football value, but he did see it dip over the past few weeks. Now it's surging back with Josh Jacobs. So now, y'all know with Josh Jacobs, this was actually a running back that I did not like coming into the 2020 season because we did not expect him to really get much work in the receiving game whatsoever. Yet we actually see Josh Jacobs come out, and so far in 2020, he has got not necessarily a ton of usage catching the ball, but he has been able to go out there and provide that kind of fantasy value for us. And what is more exciting about Josh Jacobs going forward is what Henry Ruggs is allowing for this Las Vegas Raiders offense. I mean, every game that we've seen Henry Ruggs go in and play, we've seen just a completely different team from Las Vegas. They have been able to go out there and effectively move the ball down the field, have a ton of trips to the red zone, and when that happens, Josh Jacobs is going to have a ton of potential in fantasy because not only is he one of these guys that can go out there and just work on all three downs, but he is going to be someone that is going to have a massive touchdown upside in an offense that if Henry Ruggs can stay healthy, we are going to continue to see Josh Jacobs have anywhere from 1 to 2 touchdowns a game, something that I'm extremely excited about because while Henry Ruggs doesn't necessarily command a ton of targets in this offense, he's the exact type of wide receiver that we want for the other fantasy football options, where he's not going to be force-fed just a ton of receptions and a ton of yards himself. But what he is going to do is by stretching the field, he is going to make things so much easier for every other player in this offense, for Bryan Edwards when he comes back, for Darren Waller right now, for just Josh Jacobs running. I mean, y'all saw just the past few weeks, teams stacking the box against Josh Jacobs. And whenever you have Henry Ruggs on the outside, who has elite level speed, you cannot go out there and you cannot stack the box against Josh Jacobs, and it's going to make his life a lot easier. So Josh Jacobs is moving to a high-end running back one in my opinion, and especially seeing that his schedule the past few weeks has been absolutely brutal, and we don't necessarily expect the schedule to look that way the entire 2020 season. Okay, now our next player is going to be someone that I surprisingly got asked a ton of questions about in tonight's stream, and this is Ronald Jones. So now with Ronald Jones, yes, I mean, there are a ton of red flags all over him. One, we know about the drop passes where, I mean, in week 4, this was a wide receiver that looked like he could have his big blow-up game, but he dropped some balls. And then going into week 5, honestly, once I saw that Leonard Fournette was active, I actually went to a couple of my own fantasy football teams and I took Ronald Jones out. I had him in the starting lineup and I went, oh, Fournette's active. I mean, what can I really expect from Ronald Jones? They don't want to use him due to those drop balls last week. But they did not care. They went out there and they went right back to Ronald Jones, who not only provided you a ton of fantasy upside, but he just looked like a fantastic running back in general. And he's playing in an offense that I think once we see Chris Godwin come back, we are going to see Tom Brady continue to grow with his weapons. And there are just going to be more fantasy points to go around. And if Ronald Jones is indeed going to be the feature down running back, he is going to have a ton of value as a high-end running back too. But what I realistically expect is Fournette to come back to this offense and bump Ronald Jones down just a tad bit. Ronald Jones, I still think that after seeing his week 4 and week 5 performances, he is going to be the starting running back for this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team going forward. And just think back to week 3, guys. After Leonard Fournette went out there and actually out-snapped and out-touched Ronald Jones, we were all ready to bury him. I mean, we were going out there and saying, I mean, rest in peace, Ronald Jones. I mean, it was fun while it lasted, but it looks like you're not going to have this opportunity in this offense. So it looks like you are a player that we just want nothing to do with. But since then, Fournette getting injured has completely opened the door for Ronald Jones to come in and show what he has. And the thing about Ronald Jones is he is actually extremely young. I mean, I know he was drafted all the way back in 2018, which for a running back is not necessarily something that you want to say he's just a young buck with, but he came into the NFL at 20 years old. So maybe it makes sense for any running back to need 3 years to go out there and develop. It would be the guy that really lived off of just his athleticism back in college and came into the NFL at 20 years old. I mean, that would be the one scenario where you could see a late breakout for a running back making total sense. And with Ronald Jones going out there and looking better, catching the ball in week 5, I think this is a running back that is going to continue to shoot up just everybody's fantasy football boards going forward. Yes, I mean, It's something we have to monitor with Fournette and Keyshawn Vaughn coming in and potentially taking touches down the road. But what I will say is this is just kind of a death nail for Leonard Fournette, knowing that not only is he going to be outtouched by Ronald Jones for the next month or so, but even if Fournette can kind of come on strong, he's going to have Ronald Jones there just to always take those touches and Keyshawn Vaughn coming up behind him. But thank you guys. I really hope y'all enjoyed the video. I really hope y'all got something from it. As always, if y'all did, please make sure you go down there, drop a like, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I will see y'all in the live stream tonight.